Tax is one of the main ways for a government to raise funds, but tax can be very tough on the less well off. Zakat is a more dynamic and fairer way than income tax to raise government funds without harming the less wealthy. Now, to demonstrate this, let's have brother Adam and brother Yusuf, and let's give them both 30k a year. Now, brother Adam, he is a family man, wife and 2 kids, lives in a beautiful 2-bedroom house. And brother Yusuf, he's a single brother who lives in a 1-bedroom apartment, and mashallah likes to go on a holiday a couple of times a year. Now, how does tax affect both these brothers? Well, as they both earn the same amount, they'll both pay the same amount of tax. 7.5k is taken a year from each of their incomes. So how does this affect each brother? Well, brother Yusuf has a single lifestyle and therefore smaller expenses, like a 1-bedroom flat, so he will still have plenty of money left over after expenses and can easily afford the 7.5k in tax, and still go on holiday twice a year, so mashallah, he's good and sorted. But brother Adam, on the other hand, he's a family man and has much bigger expenses like rent, basic utility bills, childcare, travel, so he's got to manage his expenses very tightly, and on top of that he's paying 7.5k a year in tax. So he has very little money left over at the end of each month. Now let's just chuck in brother Omar. Now Omar doesn't actually work, but he's the son of a wealthy billionaire and has close to $1 million in his own account. So he enjoys the lavish lifestyle, flashy car, big mansion, private yacht. But how much tax would Omar actually pay? Well, because Omar isn't actually working, he pays 0 income tax, despite owning insanely huge amounts of disposable wealth. Now, something about this picture doesn't seem very fair. The Western-style income tax doesn't really help those who need it, and it doesn't really tax those who can easily afford it. There has to be a better way. Zakat is a 2.5% tax, but the tax isn't on your income. The tax is on your surplus wealth, the money you have left over after your expenses. So what does this mean for our 3 brothers? Starting with Yusuf, Yusuf will pay 2.5% on his surplus wealth. Now, a 2.5% tax isn't really going to stop him going on the holiday, but he will make a reasonable tax contribution. Brother Adam, on the other hand, he still has many expenses and will have little left over at the end of each month. Therefore, he doesn't really have any surplus. So brother Adam will pay no tax, and that will allow him to use a full 30k from his income to support his family. MashaAllah. And what about brother Omar? Well, brother Omar has huge amounts of disposable wealth. And while losing 2.5% of that wealth to tax isn't really going to put a dent in his lifestyle, the amount he pays in tax would really help the rest of society. And the more wealth he accumulates over time, the more tax he pays. If Omar had $1 billion in surplus wealth, he would pay 25 million in tax. Alhamdulillah. And that's why Zakat is dynamically fair. Jazakallah khair for listening. If you enjoyed the video, please share it. And Assalamu alaikum.